Okay, good afternoon, everybody, and we will begin the meeting with our land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that we are in the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe peoples in the Huron-Robinson Treaties area. We recognize the long history of First Nations and Métis people on this land, and we show respect to them today. We acknowledge our neighbors, the Wattamohawks, and the First Nations of Moose Deer, Shawniga, Wasauksing, Magnetawan, Henley Inlet, Nipissing, and the Dokies. We have much to learn about the stewardship of our planet to ensure that the decisions we make today will take into consideration the future of our children and that of our children's children's. We begin our learning journey today. And as settlers, we are grateful for the opportunity to meet here, and we thank all of the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. So I'll call the meeting to order. You have received an addendum with 2 items on it. And with that, could I have the approval of the agenda? All in favor? Thank you. Is there any pecuniary interest to reveal or general nature thereof? No? Okay. I have a motion that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Seguin does hereby adopt the minutes of the regular and closed session meetings of council held on April 2nd, 2024 as circulated. Could I have a mover? Gail. And a seconder, Mario. All in favor? Thank you. And I have a motion that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Seguin does hereby adjourn the regular meeting to hold a public meeting for the following matters. Consent application number B 2024-0003-H and zoning bylaw amendment application number R 2024-0006-H for McLean. Could I have a motion? Councilor Getty and Ken Adams, all in favor? Thank you. Council will now hold public meetings for proposed consent and zoning bylaw amendment applications. In accordance with the Planning Act, Council will consider all matters placed before it prior to granting a consent or passing a zoning bylaw. Anyone wishing to receive notice of the passing of a zoning bylaw amendment and who has not submitted such a request in writing should provide your full name and address to the clerk. No one other than the prescribed persons may appeal an application under the provisions of the Planning Act. If they do not make oral submissions at a public meeting or make written submissions to the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Seguin prior to the decision of Council, then the Ontario Land Tribunal may dismiss the appeal. The purpose of consent application number B 2024-0003-H for McLean is to create one new lot. The purpose of zoning bylaw amendment application number R 2024-0006-H for McLean is to rezone the proposed severed and retained lots and to amend the boundary of the existing environmental protection zone to implement the recommendations of an environmental impact study. I now ask the clerk to state the method by which the notice of the meeting was provided and the dates on which that notice was provided.
Notice of the public meeting was provided by posting the property, posting on the Township of Seguin's website, and by regular mail on March 15th, 2024. Notice was therefore considered to provide in accordance with the requirements of the Planning Act.
Has the township received any correspondence with respect to these applications?
No correspondence has been received.
Is there anyone present in person in the council chambers who wishes to speak in favor of or in opposition to these applications? Are you? Do you want to speak? Okay. Has anyone registered to speak to these applications via electronic participation?
No one has registered to speak to these applications via electronic participation.
And does council have any questions? I think we have Brady online if we want to ask anything specific. Council have any questions? No questions. Thank you. Council will now close the public meeting and reconvene to the regular meeting. So now we close the public meeting. So lot of process. No, you can stay. I now have a motion that public meeting for the following matters is hereby closed and the regular meeting is hereby reconvened. I have a motion, Terry and Gail. All in favor? And now this is the next, we've got two of these. This is the part you came to hear. I have a motion that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Seguin does hereby grant provisional approval to consent application number B 2024-0003-H for McLean, subject to the conditions set out in the decision. Could I have a motion? Ken, Mario, all in favor? Thank you. And I have a motion that bylaw number 2024-040, being a bylaw to amend the Township of Seguin zoning bylaw number 2006-125, property roll number 4903-010-003-09800, R 2024-0006-H for 29 Alexandria Crescent for McLean is hereby deemed to have been read a first, second, and third time and passed by council. Could I have a mover? Greg and Ken. All in favor? You have your new lot. Thank you. Oops, just a second. Council will now consider the following road allowance application, and this is Shore Road Allowance Application number RAS-2024-0001-F for Rodriguez on Little Otter Lake, bylaw number 2024-034. Have any written objections been received related to this application?
No written objections have been received.
Is there anyone present in the council chambers? No. Has anyone registered to speak to this application via electronic participation?
No one has registered to speak to this application.
Brady, do you have anything to explain to us? Or oh, this is Taylor. Sorry.
No, I don't have anything to add to
Does
the
council
report.
have any questions? Nope.
Okay, there's two.
And we've got two more pieces to make this final. So I have a motion that bylaw number 2024-034, being a bylaw to close, stop up and sell portions of the original Shore Road Allowance application number RAS 2024-00001-F for Rodriguez is hereby deemed to have been read a first, second, and third time and passed by council. Could I have a motion? Mario and Ken. All in favor? And the second part of that, I have a motion that bylaw 2024-035, being a bylaw to deem lot 5 of Plan 295 pursuant to Section 50, Bracket 4 of the Planning Act, not to be on a plan of subdivision, property roll number 4903-030-008-02008, file number D 2024-0001-F for Rodriguez is hereby deemed to have been read a first, second, and third time and passed by council. Good motion, Gail, and a seconder, Terry. All in favor? And that is carried. And I have a motion that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Seguin does hereby receive the staff reports as presented on the agenda for April 15th, 2024 meeting of council. So I believe Dominique is first on this. Dominique?
Your worship, I don't believe Dominique's in today, but both of her reports, both of her reports are present. I'm happy to answer any questions if we can.
Okay, I need a mover and a seconder for community reports. Ken, sorry. And all in favor, I saw all the hands go up. So the report is very comprehensive. Does anybody have any questions for our CAO? Counselor Bazinski?
Not directly related to the report, but I was wondering if, Jason, if you've heard about the government initiative to start charging for public drinking water well sample evaluations. At the present time, it's free. And I've had a number of constituents that have expressed concerns about that.
Councillor Bazinski, I personally can't tell you that I have heard that, but I'm happy to take that away and do some investigation, and we'll report back to council if that's acceptable with.
I can report on it. I've already asked the clerk to put it on the next council agenda package because we've had several pieces of correspondence about it. So we'll be talking about it in 2 weeks. So the next is the tourism report. And again, Dominique would be the one reporting on it. I can tell you a little bit about it because it came before the business committee. We were successful in getting a grant, and a third party has been hired to help us build some experiential tourism packages in Seguin. And specifically, this started as tours potentially for the cruise ships visiting Perry Sound, and some opportunities to visit places like the Wave Fiber Mill and some of our restaurants as a day tour. So Dominique is heading up that, but we were successful in the grant, and we've hired some consultants, and they're working with Explorer's Edge. Do you have anything to add to that?
I think you've done a fantastic job, Your Worship, in highlighting what's happening.
Any questions? They'll be back with a report in a while, I think. So we move on to planning reports. Yes, and this will sound familiar. This is the Mandel, which was deferred at our last meeting until today. So I'll reread the bylaw. That bylaw number 2024-037, being a bylaw to amend the Township of Seguin zoning bylaw number 2006-125, property roll number 4903010-006-0025275, application number R 2024-0001-H for Mandel, is hereby deemed to have been read a first, second, and third time and passed by council. And there was a motion to defer until today by Councillor Fellner, seconded by Councillor Getty. And Councillor Fellner undertook to convene some of the neighbors and report back. So I turn it over to you, Councillor Fellner.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So I had a Zoom meeting last week with both the applicant's planner and the neighbor's planner. We went over the proposed request. I also had the opportunity to visit the site just to see if there was any possible impacts. It's very well treed. It's a long way back. It's an ideal spot for a building of this nature. There was some concerns from the neighbor about potential noise and nuisance and that type of thing, and I informed them of the, our quality of life bylaws and how they have remedy through those. So the applicants agreed to some changes in verbiage describing the facility, and increased the setback a couple meters. Now, since then, I've had a discussion with our director of planning, who's suggesting that perhaps we add a stipulation to put it under site plan control. as a condition, and I think based on that, I'm satisfied that the rights of both parties are, the concerns of both parties have been addressed. So I think the applicant's been more than accommodating.
Okay, thank you for taking that on. Does anybody have any questions of Councillor Fellner or the Director of Planning? No. All in favor? Thank you. Okay, so that's April. Do I need to do anything up there? No. Okay. Thank you very much. Thanks, Terry, for taking that on. And it kind of proves that sometimes talking to the neighbors and two parties helps. I have a motion that bylaw number 2024-039, being a bylaw to amend Township of Seguin zoning bylaw number 2006-125, property roll number 4903-030-006-02320, R 2023-0023-F for Ritter, is hereby deemed to have been read a first, second, and third time and passed by council. Could I have a mover? Ken and Greg. Taylor, do you want to talk to this one a little bit to explain what it is?
Certainly. Through your worship, this was a rezoning that came forward a month or so ago for a 1.5-story boathouse on Otter Lake. At the public meeting, it became pretty apparent to the applicant's agent that there wasn't much appetite and there was a lot of concern about a 1.5-story boathouse, which resulted in 2 guest cabins and an exception to the maximum guest cabin size. Since that point, they've reduced their request and they only want to build a 1-story boathouse with no other exemptions to it in the EP zone. The environmental study and the comments from ratepayer were further evaluated by our consultant. They stand by their original study that there will be no impacts to fish environmental attributes. Sorry, and it appears to be ready for consideration.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions of Taylor? Councillor Bazinski.
So Taylor, with respect to the concerns that were addressed by the Otter Lake Ratepayers Association, is it in your opinion that our consultants have addressed it fully and competently?
Through your worship, I believe so. I'm not a biologist, but they reevaluate it. I attached their response as an attachment to the report. They stand by their standings or their findings and why that they felt there would be no impacts to fish habitat. And so I would agree that it complies with the zoning bylaw and is consistent with the PPS as it relates to no negative impacts to fish habitat.
Thank you. And I also noted Department of Fisheries and Oceans approved it. Councillor Finson.
Is the 1-story boathouse the same footprint on the water as this 1.5-story would have been?
Yes, through your worship, it is in the same general footprint as the dock today. So the zoning bylaw amendment was crafted in a manner which restricts the proposed boathouse to where the dock is to help further reduce any environmental impacts.
Thank you.
Yes. All in favor? Thank you. This is just a report on the covenant.
Yes.
Okay, Taylor, I'm going to call on you again. This is a report on the restricted covenant at 155 Burgess Road. And your recommendation, it's pretty clear in what you've got in your council package. Does council have any questions? Councillor Bazinski.
Guess we heard at the public meeting that there was a deal struck by a previous council. And as part of the deal, no boathouse was to be allowed. And that would appear to be what comments from Muskoka Lakes Association and others have said. So in terms of moving forward, I mean, my opinion is that we would honor the resolution by the previous council.
As outlined on page 230 of your council package, you'll see that that is the staff recommendation. Councillor Adams?
I just agree with Mario that.
Well, that's what we're following the staff recommendation here, so we're just asking for discussion and staff is recommending that. So are we, that's direction. So I have a motion that the council of the corporation of the Township of Seguin does hereby deny the request of the owner to remove the restrictive covenant on title for the property at 155 Burgess Road, property roll number 4903-010-001-11200, which prohibits a boathouse. Could I have a motion? Ted? Seconder? Count Ken Adams. All in favor?
Just a discussion.
Sure.
Uh,
Councillor Bazinski again.
I agree with the motion entirely. I'm just wondering, because this could be subject to a future tribunal hearing, should we put something in about the that we're following the previous council's recommendation, just so that that can be fully addressed if there is a future hearing? I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, but
Just a question. I personally think that at this point, we should leave it blank because it would be a motion whether we invest in legal fees if we're going to fight one way or another. We would need legal counsel to tell us what we were into before we agreed to that. Councillor Collins?
I think that this sets a precedence that each council future council will abide by any of these covenants, so-called covenants that a previous council made, and to support their decisions. So I don't think we need any legal advice at this point anyways.
No, we should be aware that there might be an objection from one side or another. And at that point, we would evaluate whether we defend what our decision was and what it would cost us at that point.
No.
You all always have an option not to defend, so. Okay, so we are denying the removal of the covenant. The covenant stays. All in favor? And I think we move on to Treasury and that is Michelle. So over to you. Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you. At one of the council meetings that I missed in the last little while, Rotary made a deputation to council looking for $1,750 for a sponsorship for their Rach 3-pitch tournament. In the action items, I was to provide an update on the grants and donations. And of the $30,000 that we have in that fund, there's approximately $1,000 left at this time.
Can I just ask a question moving on to the second, to business, the Perry Sound High School's commencement? Their $500 is already in that, is it not?
That's correct.
So in past years, has Rotary complied with our December 1st deadline for the request?
Sometimes.
Oh, that
Yes.
doesn't help. Okay. So I guess we have a request from Rotary to help them out, but and they would like 1,750 and we have 1,000 left. And that will eat up everything, right? For donations?
That's correct. Yeah.
Councillor Getty.
I'm not denying that this is a good cause, but I think that, we do have a process in place. And I think the process, their request is dated February 15th for our allocation of most of our funds would have taken place or being in the judgment process prior to that. So I think that my position is that I don't agree with moving forward on this. I think that we should be looking at next year, if it comes in the proper format, that it seems to sometimes come, sometimes not. But I think that being down to $1,000, I think that unfortunately, I think my feeling is that we shouldn't be breaking with the rules on this.
Any other Councillor Collins?
Yeah, we were pretty adamant about holding that line, holding the December 1st. I guess for making any what do you call it?
Request.
A request for monies. And if we break that law or break that process, I think we're back to the same thing as before, where anybody at any time could make a request, and we give them money. And it is a good cause. Don't get me wrong. And we did give them money last year, the $1,700 last year as well. But we did commit ourselves to that process. And if we break it, then we're back to square one.
Okay, Councillor Fellner and then Councillor Adams.
So I guess if we didn't have any money left in the pot, there wouldn't be anything to discuss anyhow, right? But since we're past the deadline and we do have $1,000 left, what are we gonna do with $1,000?
So are you suggesting that we allocate the $1,000
Well,
to the Rotary? Because if we don't,
I would.
it's going to sit there unspent because anybody else will be
We're
late
not gonna
too.
Spend it. I mean, I think this is a long, I think we supported this tournament certainly since the Rotary took it over, and then maybe even previously to that. And I think the problem with the Rotary is, like any other organization, there's a change of guard every year and you have new people come in and take new positions. It is their biggest fundraiser of the year. They do tremendous amount of good work with the funds. I would just stick to a point of principle and say, no, we're gonna sit on our $1,000 for and give it to no one. To me, as much as I agree with Councillor Getty and I agree with Councillor Collins that the rules are the rules, but I think perhaps in this case, I think it would be more beneficial to give them what we have, say it's not what we typically would give you, but you didn't get here in time. And next year we can't, you need to get here in time because we intend to spend everything by the 15th of December or whatever that December date is. That's my personal take on it. So,
Thank you.
but I appreciate both sides of the argument.
Councillor Adams.
Well, I agree with all of them too. I get it. I agree with them, all of them too. Like the race tournament's going on for many years. How long has the Rotary been? When did they take it over? They started
4 years ago.
5 years.
Yeah.
4 or
4 or
5
5,
years.
they took it over from the Optimists.
Yes. So in my opinion, like I agree that to give them the $1,000, what if they do this again and they don't get in time, then they don't get the money.
Yeah.
Just to give them a heads up.
Councillor Getty.
And I understand, and I agree with the sentiment too that you have, Councillor Fellner. It's just that the only comment that I will make, and I'm not looking, like I say, said right from the beginning, I think it's a great event. But, we have had other people, other groups come here late in the year. Last year, we had the young lady that made it into the Dragon Boat. We sponsored her. So we do have a little bit of donation money. We're going to be down to nothing. And if we're down to nothing, then that's fine. I don't have a problem. But I think that, we have, since the short time that I've been on council, we have had people come forward for events that have come up last minute or past the deadline. And we have given a little bit of money to them, or been able to give a little bit of money to them. That's my only comment.
Okay, I'm gonna suggest that, I mean, I'm of the feeling that if we don't spend it here, it will not get spent on any good cause. So, and we don't have anybody else in the wings right now. So I would like to suggest that we make a motion that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Seguin does hereby approve a donation in the amount of $1,000 to the Rotary Club of Perry Sound for the 2024 Rotary Strikes Against Cancer Annual 3-Pitch Tournament. But I would like to add that they be advised in future, they must comply with the December 1st application deadline. Could I have a mover for that? Gail? And a seconder, Terry? All in favor? Thank you. Do I need to write in that they need to comply, or can you just do that with their check, Michelle?
I can do that in the letter that I send with the check.
Okay, thank you. And maybe send them a copy of the form or tell them where it is on the web. Thank you.
They actually came into the presentation.
They have in the past, but you'll see their cover letter said they kind of got waylaid by Hockey Day in Perry Sound. So, which is understandable because that was a big project. The next item is really just for information because, as Michelle indicated, the scholarship money is always allocated right off the bat in our first meeting of December. So we give $500 to the commencement. And I think it's just there for information, isn't it? Or do we need a?
Actually, it's there because usually council has a member of council attend to present. So if that's council's intention again this year, let us know and we'll make sure that the high school knows.
Although they say at the end, we'll be in touch about your attendance. So maybe they want us, maybe they don't this year. I don't know. But yeah, I've gone a couple of years, but it says we'll be in touch. So I'm happy to go if they invite us.
So you don't want to do it, you just want to wait.
That's what it says we should. That's their request. We will
They
be,
forgot to get back to us last year. We had to contact them.
okay,
So do you want us to leave it or to contact them?
contact them and see if they want us. It's a very long ceremony.
This is the addendum. I can remember.
Oh, okay. So this item is the addendum item for open. And it's a motion. And if you haven't read the addendum, it's basically an invitation to the Perry Sound District meeting, which Ted sits on. And this is the motion that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Seguin does hereby authorize the following members of council to attend the District of Perry Sound Municipal Association Spring Meeting being hosted by the Township of Perry on Friday, May 17th, 2024 at the Emsdale Community Center, which is at 25 Joseph Street, Emsdale, Ontario. Reimbursement of expenses will be as per township policy. Could I have a mover to that effect?
Just let them know also who's going to be there is the Minister of Infrastructure.
Yeah, Kinga Surma
And both the MP and the NPP.
have accepted.
Yes.
Could I have a motion to that effect? Gail? And Ken? Who would like to attend?
I'm attending for sure.
Okay, hang on. Counselor Collins, Adams, Bazinski.
Now, I might be home. If I'm home from Prince Edward Island, I would like to attend. I'm not sure the exact date.
It's May 17th.
Yeah, but I think I
Oh,
might.
when you're
be-
coming home.
Yeah, when I'm home. Was the 5th, no, 17th, yeah. So if I'm home, I would like to go.
Friday, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a problem.
I think I will be, but if something goes wrong, I'll have to.
Okay, I'll put your name down, but if you're not home, let Craig know.
How much date?
We need to know by the 3rd of, I believe,
May?
yeah.
Okay,
You want to go?
I will let you know.
I was just gonna say, put down Gail, or Councillor Finson. And if she can't go, then I'll make arrangements. I think that's the weekend that I'm tied up with grandkids, but I will make changes and take her spot.
Okay, and I will be there,
Yeah, and Jason too as well. I've already talked to Jason. He's going.
but that's on a different budget.
Oh, okay, good.
Um, okay, all in favor of Councillors Collins, Adam, Bazinski, and Finson, possibly Getty going, and Mayor McDermott. Oh, okay. I'd like, before we move on, one of the things that Ted and I discussed at the autumn meeting was, would Seguin step forward to host the next autumn meeting? It usually goes from east to west, right?
Right.
And Emsdale being east,
I think it is our turn.
it
next.
kind of is, because it's been pointed out to me several times that we haven't hosted it. So Ted, you know more about what needs to happen. We need a location, which would be a community hall. We need a caterer.
Yep.
But they do have office support that send out the invitations, and we have to figure out the key speakers.
We have an upcoming May meeting prior to this, and I'll submit, if you want me to, I'll
Well, I'd like a show of hands whether council would like to,
at the Orville Community Center. I think that's
that's the biggest.
Right. the
Yeah,
biggest,
that's
and
the
they've got the
biggest.
facility and everything else, right?
And the biggest thing is to work on the program, what speaker.
Get, what's his name?
So, are you comfortable?
What's his
And
name?
if, Ted, it's usually in October, isn't it?
Yes, let me think. I think it was in October sometime.
Yeah, so we can pick the Friday
Yep.
that fits for us, would be after Thanksgiving, I think is better. Because we've got Pumpkin Festival and stuff, but yeah, you can bring it up at the board meeting.
Okay, will do.
Thank you. Okay,
That pickleball for.
Yeah.
okay, yes, we are moving quickly. I have a motion that bylaw number 2024-042, being a bylaw to repeal former Township of Christie bylaw number 72, former Village of Rosso bylaw number 234, former Village of Rosso bylaw number 310, and former Village of Rosso bylaw number 93-06, and all bylaws related to the discharge of firearms, is hereby deemed to have been read a first, second, and third time and passed by council. Could I have a motion? Councillor Getty and Councillor Bazinski. All in favor? Thank you. And I have a motion that bylaw number 2024-043, being a bylaw for establishing tax ratios, is hereby deemed to have been read a first, second, and third time and passed by council. Does anybody have, oh, first I need a mover? And Michelle, if any questions for Michelle? It's pretty standard. You can see how the various types of properties relate to our basic tax. All in favor? And that's passed. Thank you. And we'll go to council reports. Councillor Adams, how about you go first?
I'm sorry, I'll be quick because all I've had is a couple of phone calls and a couple of emails in the past 2 weeks, so that's my
quick.
report.
Okay, Councillor Bazinski?
Well, similarly, it was a fairly quiet time. I've had a few people corresponding about the roads, which is par for the course this time of the year. And the drinking water and a couple of local specific issues, but that's all I've had.
Councillor Getty?
On the 9th of April, I had a meeting with the Rosso Nursing Station Advisory Committee and town staff. The date has been confirmed of Tuesday, the 4th of June, between 2 and 6 p.m. at the Rosso Memorial Hall. They will be running a health fair. Ellen Walker from the nursing station and the advisory committee are arranging for attendees and will be working with staff in regards to communication strategy. There is a meeting this Wednesday with the advisory committee. I'll have more information after that, but they will be taking care of organizing it, running it, funding it. We are providing the venue and the setup and the coordination of the facility. It's going to be at the Memorial Hall.
Okay.
Tuesday, the 4th of June, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. And there'll be a email going out to everyone in regard once we have the meeting on Wednesday, just so that the details for council, so that they'll be able to speak to their constituents and let everybody know. The issue of the West Perry Sound Police Services Board is still continuing that saga. There was no indication that the new policing act was going to come into effect on April 1st, but I was advised on that day by the OPP that in fact it did come into effect. I think they are still struggling to work through the process. I think there's a definite information flow problem. But just before coming to the meeting today, I did receive the first quarterly CPAC report. I took a quick look at it. Our billing is down about 20% for the first quarter of this year compared to the first quarter of 2023. And violent crime is down 33.3% and property crime is down 18.2%. They sound like huge numbers, but we're talking small numbers. So the swings can be huge. So as much as I would like to see it continue for the whole year, it might be a little naive, but we're still struggling. We'll work through. And as I get more information, I'll bring it to council with the services board. Thank you.
Councillor Fellner.
Thank you, Mayor. Since the last meeting, I had a meeting, a robust meeting of the municipal pool board. Give you a little status update. Digging has commenced on the site. All the target dates for the removal of trees was met by the end of March. That had a potential to hold things up because of nestings and that type of thing. Moving along, the early works package, which is the site works package, is slated to be completed around middle of June, I believe. Approximately, I would say 50% of the packages prepared for the construction of the facility have been put out to tender. Tenders received and awards made. The indication at this time is that we're on budget. There's no significant change from the budget, and perhaps we might be a little bit under budget, so that's good news. You know, some minor tweaking maybe is being looked at for more seats, that type of thing. Seems to be still some concerns about that. But all in all, moving along, slated for opening in approximately 2 years. So.
Thank you. It's good news.
Yep.
Councillor Collins.
I attended two board, the Seguin Business Association meeting. I attended the DSAB, a regular meeting at DSAB. There was a lot of local issues as well pertaining to the fiber update coming in and again, the first phase of the Star Lake Road completion. So that's it.
Thank you. Councillor Finson.
I also attended a DSAB meeting. One of the things that has happened recently is they've created some transitional housing in South River, which is pretty awesome. There's a 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom, and a 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom, and a duplex. They renovated, and so they have 2 separate places, and it's a real big step, and they're very proud, and we're proud of them for getting that going, and hopefully there'll be more of that to come. I had a meeting today with Anne about the businesses in Rosso, a little short one. A lot of calls from constituents just with the regular concerns about roads and portages and things like that. And most of them, I think, are pretty okay right now, and I've directed them to where they need to go for the proper answers. And that's all for me. Thank you.
Thanks. So on April 3rd, Valerie and I met with Moose FM to discuss a 6-month support program for the Recreation and Culture Center. And we're in negotiation with them. If we're successful, we'll be all over Moose with a community challenge for everything from school groups to businesses to sports organizations. And they would like to be with us. And that will be matched by an anonymous donor who's going to donate up to $100,000 matching money for what we earn in that push. So April 9th, we had an airport commission meeting. And then on the 10th, as Terry referred to, recreation and pool meeting board. Everybody just calls it the pool, but that's not its official name. And on the 11th, Ted and I attended the business committee. And last Friday, I had a meeting with Mayor Kelly from Muskoka Lakes Township and 2 of his councillors, Guy Burry and Rob Bosenworth. They're very jealous about our recreational carrying capacity and what we're doing in bylaw. Couple things I want to make sure are on your calendar. This Saturday is Earth Day at the Humphrey Trails behind the fire hall. And that goes from 10 till noon on Saturday. I hope to see most of you there. And a date that I'd like you to put on your calendar, the next mayor's lunch put on by the business committee will be October 1st at Seguin Valley. And it'll be followed by a 9-hole golf tournament which is optional if people come to the mayor's lunch, but if they want to stay for golf, they can. There's 2 issues in the correspondence. I'm sure you all read every single word in correspondence that I wonder if we should address. One is items M, N, and O, all of 3 municipalities requesting the province up funding for museums and public libraries. And I know we need money, and I'm just wondering if we should also do that request at the next meeting. And the other one, which I think might be near and dear to some of your hearts, in the past, Good Roads meetings and Roma were one meeting. And there are several townships, where are we? KK through NN are requesting that those meetings merge again. And the rationale is expense, because you got to send people to 2 meetings, but also the topics tend to merge an awful lot. And I'm wondering if also that might want to appear on our next agenda as something we would support. So that's all I have. I don't know. I see Valerie online. Are you going to do Jason's report, or has Jason also got a report? We don't have sound from you right now, Valerie. If you're in your office, you can run up here. Jason, do you have a report separate and apart from Valerie? Because we're not hearing any sound from Valerie.
Valerie was going to do me the favor and go through the report, but while she's working out her technical challenges, I'll go ahead and go through the report as quickly as I can. I think you just referenced that, of course, this weekend is Earth Day, and there's the Earth Day event from 10 to 12 at the Humphrey Barn. There'll be free seedlings, crafts, and guided nature walks and more. So please come out and enjoy. The township staff will be out in Humphrey on April 22nd to continue our tradition of cleanup of our community for Earth Day. Staff are working with the Georgian Bay Biosphere staff to identify potential locations for the monarch and milkweed pollinator garden project. So keep an eye on our website and social media feeds for updates. Our fire chief and deputy fire chief recently completed their National Fire Protection Association investigation certification through the Office of the Fire Marshal, which is a fairly significant undertaking. And Seguin Fire Services is encouraging youth between the ages of 15 to 18 to join the Junior Firefighters Program. As a junior firefighter, members serve in a support role for the senior firefighters in actual emergencies as a supplement to a formal training program. Junior firefighters attend weekly training drills with the full department. Those interested should reach out to the Seguin Fire Services or visit our website for more information. Another significant piece is the township looking to hire lifeguards and swim instructors and is encouraging those with their Bronze Cross certification to contact us about training opportunities and incentives to earn their national lifeguard certification and work for Seguin this summer. And sorry, I just lost my page. As Councillor Getty spoke to, Seguin Township is supporting the Seguin Health Fair on June 4th. This event will highlight local offerings that support the health and well-being of older adults with a focus on OHIP covered services. This event will be at the Rosso Memorial Hall between 2 and 6 p.m. And just as an awareness thing, flags across the township will fly at half-mast April 27th to 29th to recognize April 28th, the National Day of Mourning for all persons killed or injured in the workplace. That's it for me, Your Worship.
Thank you very much. Do you have anything to add, Valerie? Nope. Nope.
My apologies. Of course, Zoom crashed. I was going to do that report on behalf of Jason as he is unwell. So my apologies.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, I have a motion that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Seguin does hereby receive the board and committee minutes and agendas and the correspondence as presented on the agenda for the April 15th, 2024 meeting of council. Could I have a motion? Again. All in favor? Thank you. And I have a motion that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Seguin does hereby proceed to a closed meeting at 3:22 p.m. In order to address matters pertaining to personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees. Could I have a motion to go into closed? Greg? Gail? All in favor? And oh, sorry, we have to repeat this one, that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Seguin does hereby rise from a closed session and declare the regular meeting reconvened at 4:22 p.m. And that was moved by Ted Collins and seconded by Ken Adams, and it was all in favor. Now this guy? No, that one. That was this one. I have a motion that bylaw number 2024-044, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of meetings of council, is hereby deemed to have been read a first, second, and third time and passed by council. Ken and Mario? All in favor? And I have a motion that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Seguin does hereby adjourn this regular meeting of council at 4:23 p.m. to meet again on Monday, May 13th, 2024, or at the call of the mayor. Terry wants to move it. Who wants to second it? Ken? All in favor? Carrie. So I'm going to see you, Ken, at Fonum.
Yes.
In Sudbury.